Hey everyone, Cosmic Mango here, your favourite mango from outer space. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. It will help you keep updated for more of my future Commander content. Commander is a very fun format to play. I've been playing for years now and I adore it. Players can pick and choose from hundreds, maybe even thousands of commanders and build whatever sort of deck they feel like. It really is a wonderful format. But like everything in this world, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It does have the odd shade of darkness and storms. What I'm referring to are the evil commanders in the format that are a real pain to play against. The commanders that are most hated. Either they're too powerful and toxic, or we just see them too darn much, making them pretty boring to face off against. To be honest with you, there are many reasons why a person may hate a commander. I thought it would be a fun idea to share with you some of the most hated commanders in the format and give my personal take on them. But before we start, I'd like to quickly mention my friends at Pyramid Designs. They make amazing playmats with fantastic quality. If you're interested in picking up a new playmat with great artwork, check out the link in my description below, which is offering a special discount code for my YouTube viewers. Okie dokie, without further ado, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Let's dive into these evil commanders. Number 1. Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger. A legendary Praetor creature that costs 2 green and 6 generic mana to cast. It has 7 power and 6 toughness and says the following. Trample. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of any type that land produced. Whenever an opponent taps a land for mana, that land doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Okay, Vorinclex is an absolute monster, a very hated commander for many years now in the format. Its sheer power is immense, and once he is set up, he can be very hard to stop. Having your lands locked whenever you tap them for a full turn is a massive nuisance, and everyone hates it. Vorinclex ramps up the player controlling him massively and slows down anyone else playing against him. This combination warps games and is incredibly annoying to play against. Often people remove Vorinclex as soon as they can, as he generates that much hate. Vorinclex's ability to potentially make opponents feel helpless or locked out of the game can lead to frustration and saltiness among players on the board. Some players dislike the feeling of being unable to play or make meaningful choices, leading to negative sentiments towards Vorinclex. Well, yeah, rightfully so. The guy is pretty OP, to be honest with you. Number 2. The Beamtown Bullies. A legendary Ogre Devil warrior creature that costs 1 green, 1 red, 1 black and 1 generic mana to cast. He has 4 power and 4 toughness and says the following. Vigilance Haste. For tap, target opponent whose turn it is puts target non-legendary creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under their control. It gains haste, gold it. At the beginning of the next end step, exile it. Until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able and attacks a player other than you if able. Okay, like the actual card name applies, the Beamtown Bullies is a bully of a card. A bully of a commander. This commander is like the evil bully on the playground at school that runs around ruining everybody's day. The Beamtown Bullies may have very strong or overpowered abilities that can dominate the game and make it less enjoyable for others. This can create a sense of imbalance and frustration among players. Often the player running the Beamtown Bullies has a deck filled with evil creatures that when controlled completely ruin the dynamics of the game for the person controlling them. The Beamtown Bully deck then finds ways of getting these awful creatures into their graveyard and uses their activated ability to hand it over to an opponent of their choice, thus ruining their day. This commander can be very hated when fine-tuned. The Beamtown Bullies commander gains a reputation for being one of the most disliked commanders in the format, mainly because its playstyle is often described as overly aggressive and domineering, leaving little room for other players to take part or enjoy the game. This leads to a sense of frustration and exclusion among those who are not aligned with or appreciated by the commander. Yep, what a bully. Number 3. Yuriko, the Tiger's Shadow. A legendary human ninja creature that costs 1 black, 1 blue and 1 generic mana to cast. She has 1 power and 3 toughness and says the following. Commander Ninjutsu for blue black. Return an unblocked attacker you control to hand, put this creature onto the battlefield from your hand or the command zone tapped and attacking. Whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to that card's mana value. Ah yes, Yuriko. I believe we all know how powerful this commander is. I remember several years ago when Yuriko was released, I was fascinated by global opponent damage, and I thought, well, count me in, this commander looks really fun. I quickly built a deck with her that includes loads of low casting and evasive creatures, top deck manipulators and high casting cost spells. I enjoyed her gameplay. It was really fun to attack with a small creature, reveal something from the top of my library and do a whole lot of damage thanks to Yuriko's ability. But quickly realised how powerful she actually was. My friends hated playing against her and often groaned whenever I chose to pilot her. She is just too explosive and very hard to deal with. Removing Yuriko is difficult, very difficult, as killing her doesn't really do much. This is because the owner of Yuriko, as a commander, can bypass command attacks with her commander ninjutsu ability. So many decks exist out there with Yuriko, from high aggro to total control, and all of them are solid. She's incredibly powerful. You need to be smart when dealing with Yuriko. She's a nuisance and hard to stop. Mix all of these attributes together and you get a commander hated by many players in the format. Number 4. Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. A legendary angel horror creature that costs 1 green, 1 white, 1 blue and 1 black mana to cast. She has 4 power and 4 toughness and says the following. Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, proliferate. Choose any number of permanents and or players, then give each another counter of each kind already there. One of the most popular commanders out there. Almost every commander player has either tried Atraxa out at one point thanks to her diversiveness, and if they haven't built her, then they have most definitely faced off against her. One reason why people hate Atraxa so much is just that, she's boring to see now. She's just too popular and predictable. Some players may grow tired of facing the same commander over and over again, leading to a dislike for Atraxa. Atraxa has a powerful ability that allows players to proliferate, meaning they can add an additional counters to any permanent and player. This ability can quickly snowball out of control, leading to an overwhelming advantage for the player controlling Atraxa and a disadvantage for those not. Some players may find this ability frustrating and unfair, leading to dislike for the commander. Maybe stay away from Atraxa for a while. People don't really like her that much. Number 5. Elesh Norn, Mother of Ruins. A legendary Phyrexian Praetor creature that costs 1 white and 4 generic mana to cast. She has 4 power and 7 toughness and says the following. Vigilance. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Permanents entering the battlefield don't cause abilities or permanents your opponents control to trigger. Ah yes, another Praetor on my list, and rightfully so. Praetors are pretty OP. This Elesh Norn is very busted and incredibly restrictive to play against. Having the ability to double up your enter the battlefield triggers is great, yeah? I mean, think of the wonderful value. And then, you get to completely stop your opponents from gaining any entering the battlefield abilities of permanent state control. Wow, very sweet. Well, yeah, maybe for you, but not for your opponents. Playing against Elesh Norn is extremely frustrating. She can completely obliterate certain decks and their strategies, all while gaining literally double the value for herself. A very annoying commander to play against and hated because of it. Number 6. Grand Arbiter, Augustin IV. A legendary human advisory creature that costs 1 blue, 1 white and 2 generic mana to cast. It has 2 power and 3 toughness and says the following. White spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast. Blue spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast. Spells your opponents cast cost 1 generic more to cast. Ah yes, stacks. What a pain. I hate playing against this commander. It's just so boring and slow. This commander tilts people extremely hard. To be honest with you, any stacks deck usually will do it in a casual commander setting. People just want to play their spells, you know, and when you have someone slowing you down from doing that, it's pretty irritating. He's a great commander for people who like to lose He's a great commander for people who like to lose first and spend the rest of the game on their phone. He is hated that much. Honestly, I kind of hate this commander. It's so annoying. Okay, number 7. Urza, Lord High Artificer. A legendary human artificer creature that costs 2 blue and 2 generic mana to cast. He has 1 power and 4 toughness and says the following. When Urza, Lord High Artificer enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Tap an untapped artifact you control, add 1 blue mana. For 5 generic mana, shuffle your library, then exile the top card. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. Urza is the definition of power creep. After years and years of Magic the Gathering, the power scales increase more and more, and in the end you end up with a creature like Urza, and my gosh, is he strong. He is hated by many players, mainly because of how strong he is and how easily he can win the game. If he generates infinite mana, which let's be honest, it's not a hard thing to do anymore, he pretty much wins. Urza Lord High Artificer is hailed as one of the strongest commanders in the format, and has good reason to be. His abilities are nuts. Urza has many strong abilities. Having the ability to tap your artifacts for mana is a very solid one. He is a very versatile commander as well, with dozens of win conditions. If you see this commander enter the battlefield, do yourself a favour and remove him as soon as possible. Trust me, he is very annoying. Gosh, I hate playing against Urza decks. To be honest with you though, a long time ago I actually did have an Urza deck and it was kind of fun to play, it was kind of fun for me to play, but yeah, my friends hated it, so yeah, people do hate this commander. Number 8. Narset, Enlightened Master. A legendary human monk creature that costs 1 white, 1 red, 1 blue, and 3 generic mana to cast. She has 3 power and 2 toughness and says the following. First strike hexproof. Whenever Narset Enlightened Master attacks, exile the top 4 cards of your library. Until the end of turn, you may cast non-creature spells from among those cards without paying their mana costs. Narset. Oof, okay, Narset is one of those commanders you don't see very often anymore. But the memories of her power scale still haunt you, and this is reminded from time to time whenever you see her appear on the commander table. Narset decks are very annoying. It's really annoying to play against, as they often abuse her ability by casting huge casting cost spells for free. The most annoying being extra turn spells, and yeah, we all hate those extra turn spells. Very annoying. Fun to play, annoying to play against. When she gets going, you'll be watching her do things for a while, bored and hoping you get that one more turn to play. She really slows down player interaction for the rest of the board, but herself, yep, overall she's pretty much a menace. Number 9. Koma, Cosmos Serpent. A legendary serpent creature that costs 2 blue, 2 green and 3 generic mana to cast. It has 6 power and 6 toughness and says the following. This spell can't be countered. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 3/3 blue serpent creature token named Koma's Coil. Sacrifice another serpent, choose 1. Tap target permanent, its activated abilities can't be activated this turn, or Koma Cosmos Serpent gains indestructible until the end of turn. Yep, a lot of mighty text slapped onto this big serpent. One of the most annoying surprisingly being the fact it can't be countered, meaning when it's cast, it's coming in whether you like it or not. Once Koma does hit the battlefield, he demands removal immediately, because once the turn ends, you'll literally never be able to get rid of him, as he can just give himself indestructible. This is very frustrating to play against. He then also has the ability to very easily shut down your game plans by tapping permanents you control and cancelling their activated abilities to boot. This serpent is a real menace and many people hate playing against it. Jump back on the ship and get out of there, I say. Number 10, the final card on my list. Tergrid, God of Fright. A legendary god creature that costs 2 black and 3 generic mana to cast. She has 4 power and 5 toughness and says the following. Menace. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you may put that card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Okay, Tergrid, God of Fright is a very powerful commander and very disruptive card in Magic the Gathering's commander formats. Tergrid's ability triggers whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. This can lead to a lot of disruption, causing opponents to lose resources and hinder their game plans. Tergrid can be built around a stacks-like strategy, focus on resource denial and forcing opponents to sacrifice or discard, two things that people really hate. Many players hate these type of decks and commanders and often try to remove the person doing it or playing it from the game as fast as possible. Mainly because people want to be playing their decks, they don't want to be discarding their cards and have their opponent playing their decks for them. It's really frustrating. People like when their deck flows like water in a beautiful river. Tergrid ruins this vision and replaces it with fiery chaos and doom. Tergrid's disruptive ability can lead to long turns and constant decision making for all players involved. This can slow down the pace of the game and may be less enjoyable for some players. Yep, many people hate Tergrid, and rightfully so. Okay everyone, we have come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for making it this far. If you did enjoy the video, please could drop a like, comment and subscribe to the channel. I would love to know your feedback. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comment section below. Oh, and I'll be interested in knowing who is a commander you hate. I love reading your comments and always try my best to answer them all, so yeah, drop a comment in the comment section below. Thanks for watching everyone, and as always, take care and goodbye.